Hey guys, today let's walk through how to install a low pro on your transit van. Transit trail, 148 high roof, extend, mid roof, they're all pretty much the same. Different parts, different lengths to kind of accommodate the different roof heights and lengths, but the process is all the same. So we'll walk through how to get started and how to get it all fitting up there nice. First thing we're gonna do is grab a chisel works good, or a plastic body tool, or something to get off those factory plugs that they glue over the mounting holes up top. Something to look out for, these square cutouts right here are where the feet go. There are a couple extra plugs up here, but you wanna make sure not to touch these ones. It's just where these square cutouts are. If any of the holes don't line up, the easiest thing to use is a die grinder. I know not everybody has one of these. You also can just use a round file, or you can get creative and use like a step it and hog it out or something. This is way easier and a lot safer, so you don't scratch your van. Time to install the feet. There are brackets that have the rubber sealing gasket already applied to the bottom of them, the M8 hex bolts that go into the factory thread insert, and then the sealing washer. So it goes bracket, sealing washer, and then the bolt through, so stacked up like that. So when you're setting these down, you obviously just want to make sure that they are square or even inside of this cutout, you know, not twisted, not crazy. There's enough adjustment in this that it doesn't really matter, but you want to make sure that they're parallel with the correct sides. Also make sure that the bottom of this thing's clean. If it got set down, this rubber sealing wants to pick up dirt and dog hair or whatever, so make sure that they're clean, make sure your surface is clean. Get that guy set down on there, and we'll bolt them in. Once you get all the feet in there, we're gonna go ahead and get the side rails loosely put up there in place. There is a 1/4-20 carriage bolt that will come up from the bottom of the foot. You can see that there's a spot that's notched out for these to slide into. Then it'll go through the foot, through the side rail, drop on a washer, and then a nylock. We're just gonna put all these finger tight for now, and then once we get all the crossbars and everything up there, we'll come back around and tighten everything down. So loose for now, and then we'll join them together. We designed these brackets to have a lot of access around there. Getting these carriage bolts up there can be a little finicky, especially if you got fat fingers. So there's a cutout on the back, cutout on the side. You can see they kind of slide through here. So depending on your arrangement, there's easy access to get your finger in there to hold them up tight. When you go to tighten them down, you will have to push up on the bottom of them to make sure that that shoulder of the carriage bolt engages. So the mounting plate goes on the inside of the rails. There's some slots in there to adjust it, but once you get it on there and get it finger tight, you want to just hug these as close as you can. Make sure that they're flush end out, and that they just look like they're as close to one piece as you can get them to be. Once you get all your side rails up and locked together but still loose, it's time to get the crossbars in. You'll notice that there are some machined pockets in here. This is for dropping T-nuts into for solar panels or decking panels, any future stuff. So maybe think about which side you want those on. Do you want them all on the same side or staggered? Totally up to you. The other thing that you want to know with these is to leave one of them off to the side, and that's because we'll come back and we'll use this to install the front fairing, and it's a lot easier to do that down on the ground. Up on the van, you'll see that there are spots that have 2 holes that are for where the crossbars could go as a standard set, but it really doesn't matter. That whole slot up there, the crossbar is going to adjust in just fine. You can space them however you want to. If you're installing decking panels, now's a really good time to make sure to get that spacing right so you don't have to come back later and loosen them all up. If you need help with that, there's some information on the website about the decking panels and the spacing and all that you need. But one other thing you can do that is helpful in your planning is just set them up here real gently and visually get an idea of your spacing before you lock anything down. One thing to keep in mind when you're setting these up is because we're still loose on our feet, you actually have this full slot to adjust. So you kind of just want to see where your other side is at when you're tightening these ones. Right now we're all the way back in the slot, so I'm just going to make this all the way back in the slot and then make sure when I tighten it, it squares up because they could be a little bit out of parallel. After all your crossbars are tight, you want to assemble the fairing down here on the ground. There are 3 brackets, and the T-nuts are what we're going to be using to get it onto the crossbar here. You'll notice that 2 of these bend to the right, 1 bends to the left, and then they're different lengths. So these 2 are the same length, but opposing sides. So it goes driver's side, passenger side, and then the taller of them right here is the one that goes in the middle. These outside brackets are also sided. You do want to make sure that the flat side goes towards the outside as it gets pushed in. There is a little bit of a curve in this bracket here, so you just want to make sure that the flat side goes towards the outside. Same over on the passenger side. The easiest thing to do is get this all assembled before sliding it onto the actual track. So we'll grab a screw, a Belleville washer with the cone going out, loosely in here with the T-nut, and then leave this really loose. Then what we're gonna do is take our crossbar and slide this in from the end. So there's 2 ways you can kind of get your bracket set in place. The eyeball way, you can set it on top of your fairing, make sure that it's centered side to side, and then get your bracket set in place. Or you can use a tape measure and measure them out. If you do measure them, it is 11 and an 1/8, and then 28 and 3/8 from the edge of your crossbar to the edge of your bracket. But we're just gonna push these guys over a little bit till they line up. When you go to tighten these down, you'll notice that there's a slot in here. You want to make sure that this thing is parallel to the bar and is spaced evenly on the bar. Now we are ready to get the fairing mounted up. You'll go with one of the flanged button heads from the outside coming through, and then a washer and a nylock on the back side to get it in place. So we will leave these guys loose. We'll tighten them down once we get on the van. There's some adjustment in there, but we're gonna put these brackets on there as well, leaving these loose so that there's some adjustment. Also, we don't want to forget to put on the bulb gasket. This goes with the bulb side down towards the crossbar here, but this is what's gonna be touching the roof. So when this is up there, it'll make a seal up against your roof. It is a little shorter than end to end. That's by design. There's that radius right there. So you wanna make sure and get it centered on your part, and then press it on real firm all the way across. It is definitely more ideal if you have 2 people, but if not, throw a blanket or cardboard or something up there and you can set it on there and get it into place. Now it is time to tighten up. I like to tighten it up from the center out to make sure you get that nice curve, and then tighten the fairing side of these first, and then press down and tighten the side on the side rail. Now that everything, the crossbars, fairing, everything's tightened down, we're gonna come back around and tighten the feet. There's all that slop in there still. That'll all get tightened out. You wanna make sure your fairing is tight. And then the next thing to consider is how straight you are on the van. You can see there's probably, I don't know, 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch of movement in these slots. So look down the sides, make sure that you're nice and straight on the van. If you're putting an awning on the van, it's a good idea to justify the whole rack over to that side with that tolerance. It gives you a little bit more clearance for your handle as it goes up. When you're tightening these down, you may need to get your finger underneath of here and push up on that carriage bolt so that the shoulder is actually engaged in the slot so that it doesn't spin. If you are installing a Fiamma F45 or other awning into your low-pro roof rack here, there's already some slots pre-cut, lasered into the profile here, so that your brackets from Fiamma or whoever your awning is actually should just bolt straight up. You have plenty of clearance, and it all just nests right in here real tight. That's it, your roof rack's installed. You're ready to keep on with your build, whether you got solar panels, decking, whatever you need to get out in an adventure. If you got questions, if we didn't cover something that you're curious about, or if you've got something unique about your van, hit us up at customer service. Our crew loves to talk vans. We love to help you guys solve problems. So just reach out to us with whatever questions you got.